Today, what I want to talk about is what it looks like to follow your heart. And to me, the heart is the seat of the soul. And that is like definitely what I'm most concerned with when I'm with my clients and when I'm teaching you guys in group and all the readings. Like, I'm really trying to get all of us to come from a place of our soul. And to me, the access point is in the heart. Okay. So, signs that you're not following your heart, because I think it's like a little easier to kind of understand maybe when I'm not there. So I used to think that I was like a very I remember going to my first like therapy session, and I just felt I'm so sensitive, so I thought like, and I'm kind, and like I thought I was like I was in that space, I was kind and I was sweet and I was sensitive, so I'm like, oh, I must be like such I'm like the most heart-centered person there is, right? And when I showed up and then I sat there with her and I'm like telling her about all these things, and I could like psychoanalyze everything. And she's like, um, I don't know how it came up, but she was like, you're a very smart person. And she's like, you can intellectualize like emotions so well. And I was like, no, I'm not intellectualizing them. I'm feeling them. She's like, no, 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 you're just intellectualizing. Like, she's like, you see patterns, you can put them together, you understand them. She's like, but you're not really like in your heart. And I was like, what? I was so confused by that. And she made me realize that I could maybe see emotions. I could like kind of tell what they were, but it doesn't mean that I was actually like feeling them or living from that place. So that was the beginning of my like, oh my gosh. So first sign is you keep hitting a wall. So I had this client today who very same thing, like such a loving person, very smart, very considerate, all the things, right? Had all the words. And she had very spiritual, like she really, she's like very connected to God and really trying to be guided by God. And she put together this offering in her business. Like, she has a product that she's trying to get out, and she's been working on it. She puts all this money into it, all this stuff, and it's just not selling. Like, it's just not working. It's she loves it, she believes in it, it's needed, all these things, but it's like just not working. So as I started to read her, I realized that like that's it was almost like work that was maybe like obvious work that she should be doing, that people were kind of like, oh, of course you should be doing this because you had this experience, so you should be doing this work. But it's really not what her heart is like truly calling her. There was something else, and for that reason she could do all the things, spend all the money, put all her, all her efforts into this. But if that was not her path, that is not her path, right? And it doesn't even mean that what she created is wrong. It means that there's something like it means that she is trying to force something. She's trying to think her way through this. She is trying to, what I usually say, she is going with her will and not God's will. So in this moment, she needs to take a step back, like kind of start from fresh and just kind of be like, put everything to the side for a little bit and really start to drop into herself. And another thing I see a lot is that your body starts to give out. So, like, I don't know, I had a client the other day that was trying to do some sort of voiceover work that she was supposed to do. And her throat was just like giving out on her. Like, she couldn't get it done. And same thing, like, this was like not her way. This was not like the way that she was supposed to be going. Or something kind of starts to go off a little bit in your body that's really stopping you from where you typically go. So at that point, your body is trying to get your attention because we're so in our head at that point that nothing's going to stop us unless when the body starts breaking down a little bit and something's wrong here, something's wrong there, the body will really get our attention. So the third thing is, whatever road you're going down, it feels hard and like not good at the same time, because there's tons of paths like Soul Collective. I love Soul Collective, but it is, it's an add-on to the regular work that I'm doing. So there's a lot, I'm showing up at different times, and there's more things to be done, but it's hard, right? Like, it's requiring more for me. but it feels good to me. But then there's those things that are hard and they don't feel good, right? Like I feel like, why am I like running in mud, right? So this just feels like I'm just like lifting heavier weights and I'm getting stronger, not so much that I'm running in mud and not getting anywhere. So those are other senses, because the things that the things that show us that we're not coming from our heart are not logical, and that's why we have to really be in touch with our body and really kind of and with the metaphors of life, like what's happening in life, and do I need to keep forcing? So overall, it's a feeling of forcing and not really getting to where I need to be. Okay. How does the heart talk? So a few things. Number one, the heart talks one step at a time, which I already talked about earlier. And this is typically why we don't like to follow the heart. The heart it's just kind of showing us. I always say it's like it's the yellow brick road, right? Like imagine that you have this vision for your life and you've created this path, you know how you're going to get there. And that's the strategy and the mind path and the my will path, right? And then the heart path, which if you're grew up Christian would be God's will, right? It's just different terms. And that path is the yellow brick road, but it only lays one damn brick at a time. And that's why we typically don't like to follow it, because we want to see all the bricks. We want to see the bricks all the way to the freaking Wizard of Oz. But our heart is like, here's one brick and here's another brick. And so it's really, really scary to follow that path, right? So the heart doesn't give like too much detail, and it doesn't show the thing, so far in advance. Now, that does not mean that we jump to like conclusions, like, we, go off of our impulse and we take one little sign and we draw it out to a whole new path, which is what I was talking about earlier. But it is the concept that like I'm being shown one brick right now. Today, I'm being shown that I need to go this way. I need to make these phone calls. I need to look into this. And that's all I know right now. That's all I can tell, but I really feel like I'm being pulled in this direction and I don't see the full path, but I'm feeling pulled into here. This is something I need to do, right? So that is how the heart talks. Eventually, it'll give you like 10 bricks at a time. And at some point, it's going to give you 200 bricks, But in the beginning, it's really just so little, because it is trying. If the heart would give you the 5,000 bricks that it takes to get to the end of the yellow brick road, you would be super overwhelmed and all in your head. So the reason that it comes brick by brick in the beginning is to help you ease into this new path, because it's basically trying to shift you into a new way of seeing things, and a new way of going, and having a really new perspective as to like how you're going to get to the Wizard of Oz, because you thought this was the way you're supposed to go down to get to the Wizard of Oz. And it's like, there's another way, not going to overwhelm you, just going to give you one block. Don't get pissed at me. Just let's do this one block at a time, one brick at a time, excuse me. Okay. So the heart is really, it's kind of, it's, uh, doesn't give us too much, doesn't talk too much, but it's still okay. And you can do that in a very safe way. I can only see these three bricks. And I know that beyond those three bricks, there's all of this unknown. Like I have no idea how these things are going to work out. And I can't focus on the fear of that unknown because I don't have that information. So I'm going to focus on the information that I do have, which are these three bricks. And I'm being called to do these small little things. And this is where I am right now. And this is what I can see right now. The next thing to that is to know that this is in your highest and greatest good. So, one of the things that really helps me live a heart led life these days is that I've done it enough. So, I've had great results, and I'm able to, when I have to do something scary that is being led through my heart, I'm able to be like, it's okay, because every time I follow my heart in this safe way, in this responsible way, in this present way, it always works out.